Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The heavy silence in the Abbott living room shattered with a piercing scream that echoed down the hallways of the grand estate. Amy's trembling hand dropped her phone, her face turning pale as if she had seen a ghost. Her chest rose and fell in ragged, shallow breaths, and her eyes were wild with a truth too big to contain. She clutched the edge of the table for support before screaming again, louder this time. Damian's not dead. The sound of her voice ricocheted off the walls like a thunderclap, yanking everyone in earshot out of whatever delusion they were living in. Tracy, who had just walked into the foyer, froze mid-step. Jack, sitting on the couch nearby, immediately stood up, eyebrows furrowed. The room transformed into a battleground of confusion and fear. But it was Kane Ashby who rushed in the fastest, the blood draining from his face as he met Amy's wild gaze. "What did you just say?" Kane demanded, gripping her shoulders tightly. "Amy, what did you just say?" Amy couldn't stop shaking. "He's alive, Kane. Damian is alive. I just got a call, a voice. I know it was him. I know it." No, that can't be," Kane muttered, his voice breaking into fragments. "We saw the body, Amy. The fire, there was nothing left of him." "That wasn't Damian," she snapped. "It was staged. Don't you see? He wanted us to believe he was gone. But he's out there. He's watching. He's waiting." Victor Newman's arrival at that moment couldn't have been more perfectly or ominously timed. He entered the Abbott home like a storm front rolling in, dark and unforgiving. Behind him, his security detail lingered at the door, silent and imposing. He moved past Jack and Tracy without a word, his steely eyes locked on Kane. "I warned you," Victor growled, voice low but menacing. "I warned you what would happen if this mess came back to haunt Genoa City." Kane stepped in front of Amy protectively, his jaw tightening. "Victor, you don't understand. We thought Damian was gone." "I understand perfectly," Victor interrupted, his words slicing through the air. "You let a time bomb loose in my town. You and Carter made choices that led to chaos, and now that bomb is ticking again." Amy clung to Kane's arm, but her eyes weren't on Victor, they were locked on a spot beyond the window. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "He called me by my nickname. The one no one else knew. Mimi. Only Damian ever called me that. He said, 'You think fire can erase a devil like me?'" Victor's expression hardened further. "So the devil's back. Wonderful." He turned to Kane again, stepping closer. "You better hope, for your sake and Lily's, that you have a plan to contain this. Because if Damian shows his face, I'll handle it my way, and trust me, Ashby, you won't like what that means." Kane felt the pressure in his chest building like a dam ready to break. The guilt over Carter's brutal actions, the charred corpse they thought was Damian's, and the lie they'd told to bury it all, it was unraveling fast, and the cost was coming due. "Amy, you need to calm down," Jack interjected gently, trying to bring the temperature in the room down. "You could have misheard." "No," Amy snapped, her eyes blazing. "I know his voice. I loved him. He played me, but I loved him once. And he's out there, Jack." Victor folded his arms. "So the dead rise. Fine. But ask yourself this: why now? Why return now? Because he wants something. Or someone." Tracy quietly asked, "Could he be coming for Amy? For revenge? For Kane?" Victor didn't flinch. "Or he's coming for all of us." Outside, thunder rolled across the sky, echoing the dread now clinging to every breath inside the house. Amy sat down shakily, her fingers trembling as she tried to replay every word from the mysterious phone call in her mind. Kane paced back and forth, the weight of everything crushing him anew. He had told himself that burying Carter's crimes, faking Damian's death, and starting over was the only way to keep Lily and his children safe. But now the specter of Damian, real, breathing, and furious, was coming back to burn it all down. Victor took a step forward and leaned in close to Kane, his voice like a blade across the throat. "Listen to me very carefully. If Damian returns and this turns into a public war, you won't have to worry about him killing you. I will do it myself." Kane's eyes narrowed. "You're threatening me." "I'm warning you," Victor replied coldly. You dragged my family into this mess the day Carter murdered that man and tried to frame Kyle. You brought danger to Nikki, to Claire, to everyone I love. You're out of chances. Jack tried to intervene, but Victor's glare shut him down instantly. Stay out of it, Jack. This isn't your business. Oh, I think it is, Jack countered calmly. This affects all of Genoa City. You think bulldozing everyone will fix it? That didn't work with Claire, and it won't work here either. Amy's head jerked up. Wait. Victor, you said he might want someone. Do you think he's after Claire? Victor looked grim. Damian was obsessed with control. He may not stop with Amy or Kane. He could target anyone who got close to uncovering the truth, including my granddaughter. Kane's heart sank. The sins of the past were spilling forward like a flood, washing away the fragile life he'd tried to rebuild. Lily had begged him to leave it buried. Amanda had warned him secrets never stayed hidden. But none of them could have predicted Damian surviving the fire. And if Amy was right, if Damian was back, it meant war was coming. Suddenly, Kane's phone buzzed. He looked down at it. Unknown caller. He answered on instinct. Hello. A low chuckle answered him. The kind that made the hairs on the back of his neck rise. Well, Kane Ashby. Did you miss me? Kane froze. Damian. Victor moved fast, snatching the phone from Kane's hand and putting it on speaker. You think you buried me? The voice hissed. You think fire could end me? But I'm ash now, Kane. I'm ash in the wind and I'm coming for you. Where are you? Kane demanded. I'm where your lies started. Where Carter bled. Where the screams were swallowed. You better come clean before I burn the truth out of you. The call ended. Victor's jaw was clenched so tight his teeth looked ready to shatter. Get security around every Newman property. And make sure Claire is protected. No one goes anywhere alone. Amy stood up shakily. He knows everything. Everything we buried, the truth we silenced. Carter. The fire. The corpse we thought was his, he was watching us all along. And now, Victor said gravely, he's done watching. Jack looked at Kane, his voice calm but heavy. It's time to tell the whole truth, Kane. Before more blood is spilled. Kane nodded slowly, tears threatening behind his eyes. Then we start with Carter's murder. And what really happened the night we thought Damian died. Victor's gaze darkened even more. If this comes out publicly, it could destroy everything. You think you've faced me at my worst, Kane? You haven't even seen the beginning. I'm not afraid of you, Kane replied quietly. Not anymore. Victor stepped back, giving him a slow, calculating look. Then you're a fool. Outside, lightning forked across the darkening sky, illuminating the mansion in flashes of blue-white light. Inside, the battle lines were drawn. Damian was alive. Secrets were unraveling. And Genoa City stood on the edge of a storm that could destroy everything. As Victor turned to leave, he paused in the doorway and said over his shoulder, Tell Lily everything. Because if she finds out from Damian first, you'll lose her forever. The door slammed shut behind him. Amy let out a sob as she looked up at Kane. You have to stop him. I don't know how, Kane whispered. But I will. Before it's too late. And somewhere far away, in the shadows of Genoa City, Damian watched a monitor flicker in front of him. Kane's terrified face, Amy's scream, Victor's cold fury all captured on a hacked surveillance feed. His smile widened, and his voice slithered out like smoke. Tick-tock, Ashby. Let's see who dies next. Victor threatens Kane as Amy screams that Damian is still alive. The Young and the Restless recap for Wednesday, July 30th. Reveals that Amy Lewis will scream that Damian Kane isn't dead, so fans will see this devastated mom go into denial. Let's talk about what's in store for Kane Ashby and Victor Newman, who will also threaten him. At Crimson Lights, Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman will listen to Victoria Newman and Claire Newman discuss rescheduling Cole Howard's. Chelsea will sense that Claire's got a lot on her mind, so she'll take her to the park and sit with her. That'll give Claire to open up about her loss and get some words of wisdom from Chelsea as they bond. Victoria, on the other hand, will connect with Adam and wonder where he learned to be so compassionate. Adam will attribute his understanding of that to Chelsea and Connor Newman. Adam will also reassure Victoria of the loyalty of his family and suggest that they can deal with the threat whether they work together or separately. Victor will push Kane's buttons on the train to Nice regarding all the deaths and damage that occurred on his property. Kane will act like all he can do is move forward now, but Victor will call him a sleazeball and a young punk as he delivers some warnings. Before realizing that Kane's attitude has already caused problems, Victor will believe it will. Victor will assert that no one wants him in Genoa City after some discussion of Kane's real estate acquisitions. Kane will suggest it doesn't have to be this way, but he'll make it clear that if it's a fight Victor wants, then it's a fight he'll get. Victor will argue that he's Kane's worst nightmare and push him to stay away from Genoa City as well as his family. Back in GC, Adam will talk to Chelsea about Victoria responding to his emotional evolution and about Claire's struggles. Chelsea will point out that Kyle Abbott will be back to support Claire soon, but Adam will predict they don't have a future since Victor will never let their relationship last. Next on Wednesday's Y&R episode, Victor will call Adam and let him know that they'll be flying back from Nice once Nick Newman's released from the hospital. Now that Kane's declared war, Victor will insist he shall have won. Once Victoria and Claire make it home, they'll discuss Chelsea's support along with Adam's attempt to reach out. Although Adam was clearly out of his comfort zone, Claire will get Victoria to agree it was sweet. In the park, Amy will be in good spirits thanks to the beautiful day and her treatment paying off. Nate, on the other hand, will eventually admit that Damian passed away and won't be returning home from Nice, but Amy will sense that something is bothering him. Amy will argue that's not true and will think she would have been notified first as the next of kin. Nate will explain that Lily Winters thought Amy should hear it from someone in person who could make sure she was okay. Amy will act like Lily's phone call must have been some sort of trick, but Nate will stand his ground and reiterate that Damian died. After Nate explains the details as best as he can, Amy will be horrified over Damian getting murdered because of his new connection to Lily. It'll leave Amy blaming herself since Damian never would have met Lily if she'd just left him alone. Nate will be certain that Damian enjoyed their time together and will not believe that Damian would want Amy to hold herself accountable. Amy will cry about it not being enough, but Nate will insist they can grieve together and cling to her memories. After Amy shouts that she doesn't want memories, she'll add that she wants her son instead. Amy will go back into denial and act like she'd be able to feel it if Damian was really dead. Nate will look distraught as he ultimately pulls a sobbing Amy into a comforting embrace. The rain began to fall outside, soft at first, then steadily pounding the glass windows of the Abbott estate like nature itself was mourning what was to come. Inside, the tension was suffocating. Amy sat on the couch with a blanket around her shoulders, her face ghost pale, eyes locked on the fireplace like it could answer the questions swirling in her mind. Kane stood near the window, drenched in thought, watching the lightning crack across the sky as if each bolt would bring Damian walking out of the shadows. Jack poured a scotch, his hands steady despite the tremor that had taken hold of the room. So what exactly are we dealing with here? A man we all believed dead, who somehow survived the fire and now has access to surveillance feeds in this house. Has got resources, Kane muttered. He always did. And now he's got nothing to lose. Exactly, Victor said as he re-entered, this time with Claire in tow. The young woman looked shaken but determined. I told her everything, Victor said. She needed to hear it from me. Claire glanced at Amy, her expression somewhere between horror and disbelief. He was watching us. All this time. Amy nodded weakly. He called me. Used my nickname. The way he used to, before he changed. Before he became, this thing. Claire turned to Kane. And you're sure it was him? No, he said honestly. But in my gut? Yeah. It was him. Victor stepped forward again, like a general giving orders in wartime. We don't have the luxury of assuming anything else. From this moment forward, no one moves alone. Security will be tripled. Every Newman, every Abbott, every person connected to this twisted past is now a target. But what does he want? Claire asked. If he's alive, if he's got everything he needs to destroy us, why wait? Because, Jack said quietly, he wants to see us sweat. That's what men like Damian do. They don't strike right away, they haunt you first. They break you psychologically before they come for your blood. Amy suddenly bolted upright, eyes wide. Wait. What if he's already here? The room froze. I mean, not here in this house. But in Genoa City. What if that call wasn't long distance? What if he's already watching from just down the street? What if he's been planting pieces, one by one, and we're only now realizing we've walked right into his trap? Victor's expression darkened. Then we flush him out. We expose the bait and wait for the monster to strike. Kane turned to him, furious. We're not using Amy or Claire as bait. Victor held his gaze. Then offer yourself. Kane stared, stunned. What? You're the reason this is happening, Victor said, never blinking. You helped Carter cover up Damian's supposed death. You buried the truth. If you want to protect these women, then step up and give Damian what he wants, you. Victor, that's enough, Jack snapped. This isn't justice. This is personal. Victor's eyes flashed. You're damn right it's personal. Damian nearly destroyed my granddaughter's life. And Kane's part in this brought that psycho back to our doorstep. If anyone's going to bleed first, it should be him. Amy stood up, voice trembling. No. Kane didn't know Damian survived. He was just trying to protect Lily, protect all of us. You think Damian gave him a choice? He was forced to go along with Carter's insane plan. Victor turned slowly to her. We all have choices. Don't ever forget that. Claire spoke softly. Then we need to take control of this before Damian takes someone else. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. 3 short taps. The room collectively flinched. Jack went to the door slowly, signaling for everyone to stand back. A bodyguard stepped in front of him and opened it. A courier stood in the rain, silent. He handed over a black envelope with no return address. For Kane Ashby, the man said, then turned and walked back into the storm. Jack closed the door and handed the envelope to Kane with a hesitant nod. Kane tore it open with trembling fingers. Inside was a single sheet of paper, with just 5 words. One of you will burn. Underneath the message was a photo. A blurry surveillance still of Lily, inside her yoga studio. Taken that morning. Kane's knees buckled slightly. He's watching her. Amy gasped, covering her mouth with both hands. Claire looked at Victor. We need to get to Lily, now. But Kane was already moving. She's not picking up her phone. I called her 3 times. Victor was on his own phone within seconds, barking orders. Get a car to Lily's studio now. Full security team. If she's not there, check the Chancellor estate, her office, everywhere. Claire ran after Kane as he grabbed his coat and keys. Wait, Kane. You shouldn't go alone. But he was already out the door. Lily stood in the kitchen, sipping herbal tea, unaware of the storm headed her way. The wind howled outside as the lights flickered briefly. She'd just finished a meditation class and was still in her leggings and loose sweatshirt. The fire crackled in the living room behind her. For the first time in days, she had allowed herself to relax. Then she heard it. The soft chime of the back door opening. She frowned. Kane. No response. She put down her mug, walking slowly into the hallway. Hello. Silence. She moved toward the back of the house, her bare feet making soft taps on the wooden floor. When she reached the mudroom, the door was slightly ajar, unlocked. Her breath caught. She always locked it. Who's there? She asked again, louder now. That's when she heard it. Whistling. A slow, eerie, familiar tune. Only one person used to hum. Damian.